Luckily for me and my waistline, I've never really had that big of a sweet tooth, but there's certain things I just can't resist, and I'm showing you how to make one of them today. This is my recipe for peach cobbler. Meet me in the kitchen, let's make it happen.
Bro, why are you using your fingers?
I'll put it on the spoon.
Boom.
No. Oh, damn.
Yeah, the,
It just definitely tastes like somebody's grandma made it.
yeah, for sure. Gladys.
It's so crispy. How you get it this crispy?
Gotta watch the video and find out.
Alright guys, so as with most things on the internet these days, there's a million ways to make this recipe. This one in particular is a little bit more old school, and it's my personal preferred method. So we're gonna make a batter which is gonna rise and give you that peach cobbler, old school peach cobbler consistency you're looking for. So we got 1 cup of all-purpose flour along with 1 cup of white sugar. Quite a bit of sugar in there, but we're making dessert. So with that, we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So I wanna measure this. Baking powder is kind of one of those ingredients you don't really wanna eyeball if you can avoid it. There's 1, and there's 2. We're also gonna add a pinch of salt, so maybe like a half a teaspoon or so if you wanna measure that out. But just a nice hefty pinch, maybe 2 pinches depending on how good of a grip you get. 2 pinches of salt. And then we're going in with some nutmeg and cinnamon. Now, we're gonna get our casserole dish, a 9 by 11, preferably something in that range. And we're gonna melt some butter, and then we're gonna lay this batter on top, and then make our peach mixture, put that on top of the batter. And then once you bake it, the batter actually rises up and forms that crust that everybody loves in peach cobbler. We're gonna go a little heavy on the cinnamon, because that's how I like mine. Break out the whisk, give that a mix. And then we're going in with 3/4 cup of whole milk. I'm going to slowly incorporate that. Once you get in there first, and make sure there's no clumps of sugar. Make sure everything's kind of evenly distributed. In goes the milk. And just a steady stream as you continue to mix. Take a little break. Get in there and make sure it's getting well combined. Flour sometimes can kind of stick to the wall of the bowl. So you want to make sure that you're getting all of that and getting it incorporated. In with the rest of the milk. You can smell the aroma from the nutmeg and the cinnamon. Your house is going to smell amazing. This is super easy. I know like a lot of the pie crust recipes are, intriguing because they look cool sometimes and they seem like they're easier. You don't have to measure out ingredients like this, but I promise you this is a lot better than a store-bought pie crust that you just kind of slap on top of some peach cobbler. This is kind of how your grandma might have made it. There you go. That's the consistency you're looking for, almost like pancake batter. Next up, we have our casserole dish ready, and we have some melted butter, 5 to 6 tablespoons roughly. Oven's preheated at 350. We're just going to go in with that melted butter right at the bottom of our casserole dish, and just try to spread it out as evenly as you can. But you want it to be mostly melted like you see right here. So make it about as even as you can. Try to hit all the edges. And then, my friends, we're going in with that batter. And again, try to make it nice and even coverage. Now, if you want it to be super extra on the crust side of things, you can go down with like a little pie crust at the bottom of this before you do the butter and everything else. In my opinion, it's overkill. With this recipe, you get a nice bite of crust with each spoonful that you have. As you can hear, our oven is ready at 350. Now it's time to make our peach cobbler mixture. Next up, guys, we're gonna warm our skillet over medium heat. We have 2 cans of sliced peaches in syrup, about 15 ounces per can, I believe. We're gonna get that in there along with a 1/2 cup of white sugar and a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. You can make this as sweet as you want. If you want it a little bit sweeter, then by all means go ahead and do your thing. But we're gonna give this a good mix. Allow this to kind of start to bubble up a little bit, simmer for us. That same pinch of salt from earlier, we need to add 1 to this too, just to kind of wake everything up. And then one of my secret ingredients with you know, a few different desserts, but this one in particular is a little lemon zest. I like this because you get the flavor of the lemon without the acid from the lemon juice. And that lemon flavor really pairs nicely with a lot of desserts, particularly like a fruit-based dessert like Peach Cobbler. It kind of balances out some of the sweetness that you get from all the sugar and whatnot. It's just refreshing. It's really good. So if you haven't tried it before on your desserts, definitely go ahead and give it a try, especially on this recipe for Peach Cobbler. Give that a good mix. We're going in with nutmeg and cinnamon as well. You can go in with a little vanilla extract if you want to, like a teaspoon of that won't hurt. You can do the same recipe for other fruits too. If you don't want to, you know, do peach cobbler, you can make blackberry, blueberry, strawberry cobbler. Any kind of fruit would work here. Apple cobbler. That's another good one. Let me know in the comments what other desserts you guys want to see, what some of your favorite desserts, particularly in the summertime. Good to have at the cookout or a little party for anybody that's got a sweet tooth. We're going to let this come up to a simmer, kind of reduce down a little bit. I'm going to hit it with a slurry, which is a combination of water and cornstarch towards the end, just to kind of thicken everything up a little bit, but it'll naturally thicken the longer you simmer it as well. All right, guys, so as you can see, we've got a nice rolling simmer going here on the peaches. It's smelling amazing in here. Just want to kind of move it around a little bit, make sure nothing's sticking or burning. You can see it's starting to thicken up just a little bit. I'm going to give this about 5-6 minutes, and then we'll go in with the slurry. You can cut the peaches down to bite-sized pieces if you want, kind of a personal preference thing. I don't mind the slices here. They cook down a little bit as well. But if you want them smaller, you can dice them up. You could also use fresh peaches if you want, but you're going to want to cook them a little bit longer than the canned peaches. And in my opinion, I've done it both ways. I kind of like the canned peaches a little bit better, because you don't always know what you're getting unless you're like an expert peach picker-outer. You don't know exactly the ripeness that you're getting, and it's not always as consistent as what you get with the can. This is the slurry I was telling you guys about. Again, combination of water and cornstarch. This is going to help thicken things up a little bit, give us a little bit better consistency. It's probably about a tablespoon or two of cornstarch for a half cup of water. It's kind of the ratio that I'm using here, and we're just going to work that in. You want to do it while it's hot. So add it in there as it's simmering, and then just give it a good mix. Once it comes back up to a boil or a good simmer, you'll notice that it'll thicken up nicely. Again, oven's preheated at 350. We're going to cook this for about 40 to 45 minutes, or until that crust develops nicely and it's nice and firm, got some good color to it. But here you go. You can see that the thickening is taking place right now from the slurry. Taste as you go, adjust the seasoning and the sweetness level to your preference. And I think we're just about where we want to be here. All right, my friends, this is how we're looking after 45 minutes in the oven. I threw it on the top rack for the last 5 or 10 minutes just to get that nice brown crust that we all love and enjoy. It's looking absolutely amazing. You can see the sugar caramelization. The edges are looking great. Got some peaches peeking through. One thing that you can do to take this over the top is to hit it with a little caramel drizzle. Now, I've shown you guys numerous times how to make homemade caramel sauce, but if you want to cheat, you're feeling a little lazy, you can grab a little Smucker's caramel drizzle. That's never let me down in a pinch. You can go with either option, the homemade or store-bought. But a little caramel on my peach cobbler is one of my favorite things to enjoy. So, all right, guys, once it's out of the oven and rested a few minutes, it's time to go ahead and plate this up. I'm going to hit it with a little vanilla ice cream and that caramel drizzle we talked about. This is the part where I say brace yourself for a trademark money shot. Say it with me, guys. Looking good. The only thing left to do is find my spoon and dig in for the taste test. But before we do that, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications as well. All right, guys, we got a little mint garnish on there just for a little razzle dazzle, make it look nice. Unbelievably, the ice cream hasn't fully melted yet. I think we nailed this one. We got a proper or adequate peach to crust ratio for me. Good color on the crust. Got the caramel in there. This looks good. I don't know what else to tell you. Unfortunately for my diet, though, it's probably going to taste really good, too. Let's see how much discipline I have today. Cheers. You gotta try this one.